every time England have played in kits with non-traditional St George's cross, the Three Lions have worn corrupted crosses on 9 different shirts and never worn the traditional England flag. So that's what English flag. So that's what this is claiming, right? It's claiming that there's never been a kit with a traditional England flag on it. And people were arguing with me online. I asked them, I said, show me one, show me if I'm wrong. Because, this is a random article by inews.co.uk. I don't know how trustworthy it is, whatever. And it breaks down all of these ones. And you can see these different flags, slightly different shapes and stuff. The culture wars have consumed England once again. At the news that Nike have put a multicoloured St George's cross on the collar of the 2024's football home kit, the leaders of Britain's 2 biggest political parties have piled in to condemn the mangling of the flag, but it turns out this is not the first time it's happened. So clutch your pearls as I walk you through every time England have worn kits with non-traditional St George's cross. Right, England 1998 away. And you can see that there, you can see the kind of crosses just kind of imposed onto it in different shades. But first time a St George's cross, if you can even call it that, appeared on an England shirt was in 1998. Now some will argue that's because no one would have dared to desecrate it back in the good old days of polio and poverty, but it's actually because the Union flag was far more prevalent as an English footballing symbol. This is where I read that when I said it before, right? I couldn't find any kits with the Union flag on, but maybe it was more of a flag at the games and stuff like that, and in other marketing, I don't know. It was only really Euro 96 being held on solely English soil, which fully forced a shift from the Jack to George. Pictures from the 1966 World Cup are a sea of red, white and blue. And as I keep saying, the kit is clearly red, white and blue and has always been and still is. On this kit, you can see one large St George's cross, blood red, flanked on either side by a cracked half of another cross. There's then a series of smaller crosses below these, including one at the base of the shirt, which has also been looped in half. You can only assume the perpetrators have spent the past 26 years in prison scrubs. So what's that? On the kits you can see one large St George's cross, blood red, flanked on either side by a cracked half of another cross. I can't really even quite tell what how they're describing it. I can see these kind of crosses cutting across each other, whatever. Yeah, and I get what they're saying about the red, blue and white. And it's like he's saying this is the first time that they made the kit more dominant in red. And when the older guy on the other news story was saying it was a shock that they came out in red because that was like the Wales colour back then maybe they didn't used to wear red as their away kit, and this was the first time it kind of leaned more towards the St George's cross kind of colours and look. Interesting, right? So that was 1998, yeah, way years after 1966. And now, years on again, England 2004 away, and we got this thing of Beckham. Someone pointed out this looked like a Finland flag or something. Because remember, like the guy said, the flag is a square. It includes the white bits around it. It's not just a cross. This is probably the closest an England kit has ever actually come to having a St George's cross on it, but it still doesn't count. It's been stretched out and has lost most of its white areas, a problem you suspect a lot of people who care deeply about multicoloured crosses on England's new kit have also complained about for years. Obviously not. England 2006 home kit now, and it has this kind of strangely shaped red cross with pointy kind of bits, and again it's like this bit is stretched out. It seem to always stretch out one side quite a lot. A lone limp cross stretched almost beyond recognition, much like my patience with this debate. Disgraceful, really. England 2010 to 11 home, and I think this is when I started to look at them and think, where? Oh yeah, this literally you can't see it. You just can't see it, but we'll read about it. And apparently this one's multicoloured. They may be barely perceptible to the untrained eye, but they're there, all right. Look next to Ashley Cole's nameplate and you'll see some criminally offensive specs. These are in fact the most heinous act committed on an England shirt in recorded history. Peter Saville designed this limited edition England kit and inlaid a series of multicoloured St George's crosses across the shoulders and upper back. He said it intended to reflect a culturally diverse modern England, and the design drew a sum total of no outrage at the time. There was an equally abominable away kit designed with blue crosses through the collar, but luckily it was never worn in a competitive game. Saville said, "I wanted to take the cross and make it in a multitude of colours. I would have made it in a million colours if I'd been given that opportunity. I wanted it to be something that a diverse cross-section of people could identify with." And I'll go back to it. It says it's next to Ashley Cole's nameplate. I can't see it. It's apparently so small you can't see it. But it's supposed to be multicoloured, like all the way rainbow, right? So England 2010 to 2012, goalkeeper away. Boom. Cross, all in different shades of green. Crosses everywhere, but none of them are red. There were also blue crosses inlaid into a third goalkeeper kit which was never worn. 2010 to 12, goalkeeper home. Again, I can't really see where there's a flag on this. Let's read about it. Crosses everywhere, but all of them are red. I think I can see the crosses, so just all red, so there's no white, yeah? And then here it brings us to England 2024 home. The peace, the resistance of this whole affair. Nike had the gall to put a non-traditional St George's cross on an England shirt for what has been the Czech Notes' 9th time overall, and the world has lost their collective marbles over it. In his typically balanced take, New Reform UK MP Lee Anderson said, "The left have a nerve to ask me why I want my country back. The virtue signalling, namby-pamby, pearl-clutching woke nonsense must stop. Any more of this, and I'll be on the first flight to Rwanda." Yeah, get out of here, mate. Get on the first flight anywhere, yeah? Just piss off. And there you have it. So it's proven that there's never been an England kit with the St George's cross on it that wasn't adjusted and changed. You lot are crying over nothing, yeah? It's just, actually what's happened is this whole anti-woke narrative has become so big, yeah? And it's become so politicised that this is just a current agenda, that they're pushing nationalism so hard at us that they're looking for any reason to manufacture a story against woke culture, yeah? So it's all BS. When you really deep it, it's all BS. This didn't happen before them other times because we weren't at a stage in society where woke culture had to be attacked every 5 minutes for the news. And let's deep it. You're saying the left, Nike made this, yeah? Nike, as they say in America, made this. A huge corporation who has nothing left-wing about them at all, yeah? A huge company who has terrible practices, always been called out for having terrible practices. Nothing, literally nothing woke about them. So get the F out of here, and we're done with this conversation.